there. I'm Queen Carolyn with CPB Notary on Call.
And I'm Queen Rachel with RC Mobile Notary.
We're here. We're presenting.
We back.
Here's our next episode on friendship. We're taking it to another level.
Today we talk about friendship in the Bible. And so that is a very important topic and one that we wanted to dive into to share with you all.
Hope you got your scuba diving gear on.
We're going deep. We're going deep.
All right, let's get it.
Okay, so today we're talking about friendships in the Bible, and we're talking about situations where we know of many of us are familiar with these relationships that we're going to speak of today, and it is showing us how biblically how to be a friend. We've been talking about that over the last 3 sessions. This is session 4. Go back and watch the first 3 if you need to catch up. We've been talking about friendship, and we've been talking about how to be a friend and what a friend is and what a friend isn't. And so we're going peeling another layer today, and we're talking about friendships in the Bible. So we've got a couple of relationships here that you're probably familiar with. Probably most notable, Ruth and Naomi. So it speaks about how their relationship began and how there was opportunity when tragedy struck that those 2 women could have parted ways and certainly would have had a different outcome. But they stuck together and they were determined that they were going to be in this together, even though they really were not connected as a family any longer. They were indeed family, and they determined that their relationship could and would and did survive the tragedy that ensued. So that relationship is powerful. What's another relationship that you could think about?
Well, I just want to put a pin here when you said notaries. I think that was right on. That was right on. That was good. It's good for us as notaries to be familiar with the Bible, to be in the Bible, read the Bible, to have a relationship with our Creator. So you was right on target with that, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Maybe I was supposed to say notary instead of notable, but notable notary.
Oh, I like that.
Ah.
Notable notaries. Okay. Now that I went off the beaten path, what was your question?
What relationship? I spoke about Ruth and Naomi as their relationship in the Bible. What other relationship comes to mind for you?
For me, I treasure David and Jonathan. I really always, when I learned about their relationship, I've always felt like, wow, that's so special. I mean, because Jonathan really stuck to him no matter what. He just loved him deeply. Despite how his father felt about him, he just went to great lengths to make sure his friend was okay.
I love that.
I love.
And that's
David
what we
Jonathan.
all want in a friend, right? That's what we want. Somebody that sticks closer than a brother. And so that's, again, multi-layers, multiple levels in relationship and friendship. And so each of these situations or relationships that we're talking about, there are different scenarios, but it shows the closeness and the tenacity of the characters in the Bible and how we can use them as influence in our own relationships.
I like that, definitely.
So we also wanted to dig in. We've been studying this study on friendships, and one of the things that we encountered with this is that your circle may not always, or maybe I should say this, your circle, you should have people that are in different stages of life, maybe doing different things, because if you have someone that you are friends with and they're just like you, there lacks diversity, there lacks any layers to that, and that may not be a relationship that lasts, because opposites generally attract. Now granted, you don't want to be total polar opposites, but you certainly want to have some variety, because we want to strive for people that make us better. We want to strive to have people around us that are, I'm going to say, truth tellers. You want someone to, let you know if your slip is showing. You also want to know that that person will do it in love. You don't want it to be, girl, you don't want them to be just loud and wrong about it, because that's not a friend. If they're looking for an opportunity to shame you instead of coach you or teach you, then they are not your friend.
I like that. Wow. There was so much in that you said, but I couldn't interrupt her because it was all so good. So, continue.
So also
Queen.
we've learned that relationships require time. And I believe that the relationships that you develop, the friendship that you develop over time, tends to be the better or best relationships, versus where you may initially, you feel like you hit it off with the person right away. And that's certainly possible. But you still have to do the work to build that relationship. If that friendship is worth having, you will spend time. And it's very similar to how we as believers should be seeking God and spending time with Him as well to develop our relationship with Him. It wouldn't be that you read one scripture and then you know the whole Bible and therefore you know God, right? So
True.
You develop your relationship by reading about Him, by applying the word to your life, about prayer. You also develop it with prayer, but you also have to have an ear to hear. So if we go to God with petitions and we tell Him all these things, we give Him our wish list, and then we skip off. So we don't take the time to hear what He has for us. That is still considered a one-way relationship, and that is not the desire that we want with God, and that is certainly not the desire that we want with our friends. So
now I'm going to put a pin right there because I love what you said. I'm going to actually go back to your previous statement, and now I found what I wanted to say was when you touched on diversity, the fact that diversity adds color to your life. It adds different dimensions. So when society steers away from diversity, it's really causing a hindrance on the growth of the individual as well as the community, because diversity is definitely needed. Look at, when you think about it, if you're a gardener, you're going to put different types of seeds in the ground for different reasons, because you want a diversity of crops. You don't want to eat beans for a whole 12 months.
Sure.
And so I love the fact that you touched on diversity, and also love the fact that when you said when you bring your prayer list to God and then you skip out. We don't want to do that. That's true. That's true. We have to wait on Him. He's not on our time schedule. We're on His time schedule.
Come on, say that. Come on
right.
now. We have to learn that, and us learning how to be in relationship with God will also help us to be in relationship with people. We do need people. We cannot do this alone.
Right.
And so the Bible is a great, I don't want to say roadmap, but certainly we have a lot of examples in the Bible that we can glean from, and that will allow us to grow and then apply that to our lives. So it's important.
Yes, most definitely. I like that. And when you said we need people, we definitely do. Because what we want to do life well. It's challenging trying to do life by yourself. Yes, sometimes you will have to do certain segments of your journey by yourself, but it shouldn't be all of your life by yourself. God did not create us to just live life alone.
Indeed. Well stated.
Says Queen here.
Yeah.
Queen Rachel.
That is I. No.
So there was a question in our study that I thought was rather challenging when I read it, and to answer it, when it was, what connects me to someone? what connects you to people, Rachel, or to anyone in particular? Well, connects you to people.
What connects you? Well, there's many ways to answer that. So you can be connected, obviously, by being related. So you could be connected that way. You could be connected through hobby. You could be connected through church.
Mm-hmm.
You could be connected through work. You could be... boy.
That's what I said when I said, hold on, let me think on this for a minute.
I mean, I think you can be connected in all of those ways.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's see. What would you say for you? What makes that connection between you and that? What makes that positive connection for you personally with other people? What makes you be like, okay, I'm gonna connect with this one, but that one right there, I think I'm gonna have to wait on that one a little bit.
Well, I think that's as humans. So we're going to gravitate to people that gravitate to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are not necessarily embracing the tough nut, if you will. If it's somebody that comes off as harsh or strong, me personally, I'm typically not drawn to that person. Now, it could come a time where I learn them better or, see behind that. But initially, it's a turnoff. I think we gravitate to who gravitates to us. So if you come in a room, for instance, and you see your faces and someone smiles, somebody turns and smiles and says, "Hi, I'm Carolyn. What's your name?" You're going to talk to that person versus somebody in the seat. Like, they don't want you sitting at their table. Mm-hmm. You're not going to strike up conversation with that person, but someone who seems inviting and smiling and the body language says, "Hey, I'm new here too," or "I'm not new, but I'm here." You're going to gravitate to those people and develop a connection with them quicker than someone who comes off abrasive. So I think that's important. Now, over time, you may develop a connection and relationship with that other person. It's going to take time. But generally, I gravitate to who gravitates to me. If you are friendly and you show yourself friendly, then I'm like, okay, she's not bad. I can rock with her. That's just what I do.
I got you. For me, there was a time years ago where I would I would only really try to connect with those that was connecting with me because of didn't like being rejected.
Sure.
Did not like negative comments. So it was more of a shield for me, more of a protection for myself. And it took time. Lord, it might take us several years, as far as I know. And now
I think that's bad though.
Well, I'm gonna fast forward to where I'm at right now. Now, right now, I definitely still gravitate to people who are friendly, who are open. However, those that are abrasive or who speak a lot of negativity, I see them now more as a challenge, more so than as a threat. And that's a God thing. That's a God changing me thing inside. Because in and of myself, I would not have been able to even think of that as a challenge. It would have been I ain't even messing with you, right? But anyway, I think it was the first couple of times I even attempted to speak to these people or speak to them despite their behavior, and then speak to them nicely, and then see that they kind of
melt, don't they?
Yeah, they kind of melt. I'm like, it kind of made me like, is that what happens? Okay, let's try this again. So now, mind, there are some times when it doesn't work.
Yeah, sure.
And they remain the way they are. But for me, it's become like such a challenge and a positive challenge. You know, when I first started doing it, yes, did it hurt when people you did not even see that piece of light, or when they were just totally just root? Yes. Did it sometimes make me want to and you know, I'm just saying, so it was a journey, and now I believe that I'm better at responding to people who behave negatively than I was way back then. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, you did, and you touched on something.
Oh, okay.
When you touched on, well, I've heard them referred to as sandpaper people. I don't know if you've ever heard that terminology. So the term sandpaper people. And so when you think about sandpaper, what's the purpose of sandpaper? Sandpaper is designed to make something smooth, right? But sandpaper is rough. So if you take sandpaper and you rub it against a surface long enough, the design or the intent is to smooth out that surface. So there are people that I believe God places in our lives that are supposed to smooth us out. Now, them folk rough, okay? And when you were talking about that, there is someone that I know, and I don't want to get into specifics because we're going nationwide, and I don't want nobody to be offended. So I'm trying to say this as carefully as I can. This particular person would come off as abrasive, and people gravitated away from them. So they were not like a magnet and attracting. They were a repellent. And people would make comments about how rough the person talked and different things. And I could see it. But I also saw that, just like you said, you approach them, you talk to them, and you see them melt. And now this person is like, oh, that's your friend now. I'm like, I claim them. That's right. They mine. Because I believe that being able to, first of all, when people are rough or abrasive, I believe it's a defense mechanism.
Right.
I believe that people are like that because they've been hurt in the past. Someone has, said something slick, and they have decided they're going to fire the first shot. Pow! They're going to get the first shot off. So if they do that and you are turned off, they're like, good, I don't have to deal with you. But it stems from that person being hurt or being rejected, maybe one or more times. This is their defense mechanism. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that you being kind and showing kindness is going to work on them right away, if ever. We have to make sure that something I work on is not to take on that offense as my own. But what I've learned is those people are the best people. When you can see past that rough exterior and you see that big old teddy bear heart of theirs, you see them blossom in front of you. You see their demeanor change. I've had that experience, and I'm always like, why do people gravitate to me? Like, like all these people. But again, I think it's something that they see in you. They see how you interact or how you treat them. You don't treat them like the other people treat them. Not understanding that the other people are that way because that is what is being projected. Right. So if you're trying to run them off, that's what you're doing. Like that, they gone. They scattering to the four corners. They don't want to be bothered. Don't nobody want to be with so-and-so. I don't want to be with so-and-so. Wow, what's wrong with so-and-so? You deal with them. Okay. I go talk to so-and-so. How you get them to do that? I spoke. Like, I just, it's how you have to treat people. You have to be what you want to see. And I believe that. It is very quick to get offended. And so sometimes people warm up when they realize, oh, you the real deal. Well, let me see how you are the next time I encounter you. Or let me, do whatever. And sometimes people are looking for that, you're not always like that. Or they are like that. I mean, they're really nice. They're nice to me. Nobody's nice to me. This person, people are going through things, and you just never know what people are dealing with. And again, I'm not saying that you have to take on whatever it is they're going through, but be you. And you being you, you will be surprised the reactions that you get when you are genuine with someone, when you show interest in someone that comes off that way. You will see that ice. You melt. I think about the Grinch, and that's my guy right there. I mean, how do you steal all of Christmas? Like, I mean, he steal down to the bulbs on the tree. And he got that poor little dog. I digress. But that's a bad dude right there. How you steal Christmas? You just put it all in the bag and you done stole. But people come off as that. They like suck the air out of a room or whatever. And everybody doesn't want to take the time to warm that heart. And it's okay. We're all humans. We all have our triggers. I'm just saying that sometimes when you see someone differently, you will see them differently, and then you watch them transform into someone different. Someone that's probably already there. They just under layers of ice.
Wow. Wow. I love all of that. I hope y'all taking notes, because as you can see, I'm
copious notes.
So it's something that you put out there is that when you was talking what comes to mind is hurt people, and it's the defense mechanism. So true. Mm-hmm. And do not take on that offense onto yourself. What? I was popular for that. Somebody say something, oh, I'm offended. And then it replays over and over in my mind throughout the day and the following day. It's like you're going through it over. Don't do that, because you don't need that.
Right.
I like that. Yes.
Right.
And if you find that happening to yourself, then take control of that. Speak over yourself. Get some scripture. Get some music, whatever's going to help to change the thoughts that's coming to your mind. And of course, you're silent the enemy, because sometimes that's just him doing that as well. But anyway, there was something that you said that made me write this note. And when you was talking, it's like, am I always nice, sweet, kind? No, ma'am, no, sir. I am still a work in progress. Hello. So sometimes, people be like, oh, you was rough, or you was abrasive, or, stuff like that. And I have to rethink about what I said, how I said it. There was a time way back when, I remember I had even started to record myself talking, to hear what other people would hear. I said, okay. Or I'll take a video of myself. So that's good too, to see your positive as well as your negative traits or attributes. What are you saying? How's it coming across? Because sometimes we're not necessarily aware, or it's something about hearing yourself and seeing yourself like, oh, okay, so maybe I do need to tweak that just a little bit.
But you know what? That's good. There are a lot of us that we don't accept correction. We can't accept feedback. It's never us. Oh, no. Not me. Or, well, that's just how I am. How many times have you heard that? That's just how I am. No, it's not. And if you find that you are always in conflict with someone, The issue is you. I heard that a long time. Issue is you. Is you.
Common denominator.
Yes. So that's all. That's good. The whole not taking the offense, as hard as it is, 99% of what people say to us have nothing to do with us, good, bad, or indifferent. And we have to tell ourselves. I know I've had to tell myself. It's like, it's not you. It's not you. But it's not you, Rachel. I have to do that because you immediately, and I believe that's by design. People want you to feel a certain way. They acting out or they're doing things, and it's like, okay, could I have done anything about it? No. Could I do anything now? No, because that person's response is their responsibility, right? So everything we do is our responsibility. Our response is our responsibility, and lack of a response is still a response. So,
hope you all took notes on that one.
I recently completed a group called the 4 Agreements. Go out there and look it up. And
heard about that book.
It's powerful. So, and I think it also can apply to friendship. So, agreement number 1 is always be impeccable with your word. And impeccable just means faultless. Impeccable means that mean what you say and say what you mean. Number 2 is don't take offense. How hard is that? Very hard, because we're humans. We're in community, and when people say things to us, we take offense. But we really have to break it down. And I always go back to Philippians 4:8. You know, whatever is kind, whatever is true, whatever is honorable. Those are the things that you should focus on, because when you hear somebody say, I don't like your socks, you get your feelings hurt. But what are we focusing on? They said they don't like my socks. My socks are the bomb. Just because they don't like my socks doesn't make my socks bad socks. So that is someone's opinion. Can't get offended because they feel a certain way. That is what they feel. So don't take offense. Number 3 is don't take it personal, which goes along with number 2. Don't take it personal. I'm sorry. Don't assume. I'm sorry. Don't assume. So don't take the offense and don't assume. So someone's in a bad mood, somebody's in a bad mood. If you're not sure if it's you, ask them. If they say no, then keep it moving. If they say yes, well, let's talk about it. But don't assume that because I show up and I start breaking dishes. Miss Carolyn shouldn't assume that because I show up and start breaking dishes. Clearly, I got a problem. So that's clear. But the problem is not necessarily her. I could have got a bad email or somebody text me something stupid and I allow it to get in my spirit, and I come in, I'm kicking doors and throwing dishes. So she knows something's wrong with me, but she should not assume that it is her that is what's wrong with me. And she still may ask, Rachel, everything okay? No. No. So then she may say, okay, well, you want to talk about it? No. Is it me? No. She can say, okay, she might go somewhere. She gonna pray for me regardless, because she be like, child, this lady in here throwing dishes. What is going on? But we can't always assume because someone acts a certain way around us that it is because of us. And I know that it is easier said than done. But that is what we have to do, is sit there and analyze what's happening. Okay, they came in the door like that. So is it me? We don't know until we ask, but try not to take that on as your offense or saying, I must have done something that caused her to act that way. People's actions are their own responsibility.
Oh, I like that. Whoa!
You like
People's actions are their own responsibilities. Go ahead, continue.
And then the last agreement is to always do your best. And I think that just goes without saying, whether it is work, whether it is your volunteerism, whether it is serving, whether it is your relationships, your friendships. Always do your best. Show up and be the best you that you can be. Now, some days we got stuff going on. Let's be real. And we're not showing up as our best. But the sometimes shouldn't outweigh the always or the most of the times. Most of the times we should endeavor to do our best in everything we do. And I have a young lady that is just, she's so awesome. She's so inspirational. And she just makes it plain. She said, I work here, but God tells me constantly, well, you work for me. You work for me. So when she hears that, it immediately tells her, I got to do my best, because I'm serving as unto the Lord. I'm working as unto the Lord. So my work reflects upon Him. My relationships reflect upon Him. And I think when we see ourselves differently, we will see ourselves differently. So we do work. We work for people. Ultimately, we are working for God. And when you put it like that, that should make you straighten up a little bit more. That should make you show up and do your best. Do the best that you can with what you've been given. And, don't dial it in. So many people get to a point where they don't want to do their best. They want to dial it in. They want to do less than, and they want to make excuses. But when you think about God being your boss, when you put it like that, it changes you. And so you should think about that, and how you interact with people that you encounter. It's always, if Jesus was standing on the corner, would He be pleased with my behavior? Would He be pleased with the words that are coming out my mouth? Would He be pleased with how I treated my friend? Would He be pleased with how I spoke to my husband or my friend or my boss or my sister? Those things help us be better people. It's not about who He's looking, because newsflash, He can see everything you do. So you wouldn't be able to trick Him. But instead of trying to trick Him, just be your best. If you worry about just doing the best, not perfect, doing your best, that's all that He can ask of us. And continue to grow and continue to be better. Those sandpaper people that I mentioned, they are there for a reason. So allow God to soften you with those sandpaper people. Sometimes it's painful. You're gonna lose some skin in the game. but ultimately, that is what relationships are about, right? You lose some skin, you put some skin in the game, then that may in turn allow other people to do the same. We read about that a little bit and heard a little bit about vulnerability, and how you being someone offering to be vulnerable opens the door to the other person responding in kind. And sometimes people find you more relatable when you are vulnerable. If you walking around or you floating on a whole cloud 7 days a week and you don't have no speck in your eye, folk not checking for you. I can just be 100. If you that perfect, what can I offer you? In turn, I'm gonna walk around you thinking I'm with a saint, and I'm always gonna be checking myself. I'm not gonna feel comfortable in your presence. Now, I'm not saying you have to pour out and give me your whole life story. You don't have to do that. As you develop friendship and relationship with someone, it will become organic, that you share with that person and that person shares with you. You impart, and in turn they impart with you. That's about spending time with people and learning people. That's how you develop that friendship.
I do want to just put in here also that you want to value yourself. You want to value yourself, and don't allow anyone to devalue you. Okay, so even as we are entering into different types of friendships, you it's good to have a certain type of gauge, because there's a saying that says People will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Okay, so at the same token, you are being friendly, but you don't want to be used to the point of it being a negative, affecting you negatively. Making sense? Because sometimes God will have us in a situation where it's totally obvious that you're being used. However, He sees the outcome of that is going to be is a greater outcome than what we see or would even think could occur. However, this shouldn't be like your norm. Okay, I'm just saying. So make sure you have a gauge there, and you still, you're still walking in love. You're still relating in love. You're just having certain boundaries. No, you cannot walk on me like a mat.
Sure.
You cannot talk to me just any kind of which way, because that's not how I will be talking to you. And again, just want to let them know this in love. And please do understand, as we do go out and we're forming these different friendships, sometimes you might have to walk away from a certain friend or person because it's toxic. It's not beneficial to your mental, physical, social health. Okay? So it's okay to walk away in love. Walk away. If you gotta run away. But I'm just saying, no. I'm saying it's okay to separate if it's a toxic situation, especially if God's telling you, okay, it's time for you to go. Don't try to be super God.
How about that? Let God be God.
Don't try to change someone that you can't. We can't change people no way. All we can do is influence them.
Sure.
But that took me time to learn, because I had a T-shirt that says, "I am going to change him. I am going to change her. I am going to change them." Yeah. Anyway, you will learn, because God has given us this thing called the will. He doesn't even, mess with our will. So who are we to try, say we're going to make this person change? All you can really do is influence them. And the best thing to do is influence them in love.
I love that.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Very good. I hope you guys are getting something out of this, because we sure are. We sure are.
And I got to get that book. I've heard of that book before, The 4 Agreements. Wow, now that you talked about it, I'm gonna definitely get it. I was kind of like on the, well, maybe I will. Well, now I'm gonna definitely get it. Rachel talking about it.
4 Agreements.
So where are we going?
Well, I think that we again have many more subtopics under friendship. One that she touched on is toxic friendships. When to stay, when to go. We have that one coming. I'm thoroughly enjoying this topic, and I'm enjoying just chopping it up and talking about it. And I just shared with Miss Carolyn, it's like emails, different things I'm seeing on social media. The overarching theme is friendship. Everyone is looking for friendship. And so what's the answer? And so how are we missing the mark? We've got some ideas on what's helping us miss the mark. And one that she hit home today made perfect sense. Technology. So technology is a tool, but it is not the only tool, right? We have a toolbox. We have tools in our toolbox. So you can use a hammer for lots of things, but you can't use it for everything, right? You don't hammer something if you were supposed to use a screwdriver on something, and you don't use a hammer in place of your pliers, if you will. So it is a tool, but it is not the tool.
Toolbox.
And so social media, technology is a tool in this toolbox. But this bag has a little weight to it. Why? Because it is not the only tool in the toolbox. So while technology is great, technology is superb. It allows you to stay connected to people that don't live, perhaps they moved away. Perhaps they live on the other side of the world. With the ability to do FaceTime and do different meeting platforms. I don't want to give names because I'm I'm not promoting or advertising for them. But you all know all the various medias that are used to have virtual meetings with people. We've got that beautiful social media known as Facebook. We've got YouTube, and we've got Instagram. Sometimes even down to our phones with being able to text each other. It's a great way to communicate, but it is not the only way. And so technology allows us to communicate, but it can also, if you're not careful, you can hide behind it. And so you lose the ability of having those tangible relationships, those face-to-face, those one-on-ones. Surely you can do a one-on-one by video, but how much sweeter is it if you met up one of your friends for ice cream, or we go for coffee, or we go, hey, so-and-so is going to be at Maymont Park. You know, I can bring a blanket, and we'll have, I don't know, whatever they allow you to bring, a basket or whatever. And we meet up, and we converse, and we chop it up while we're listening to good music or whatever it is, a pretty day. Are those days possible? Yes. Should they be things we strive for? Yes. Even with our friends and family who not in town anymore. One of my children, I guess if I say too much, they're going to know I'm talking about them. But people that make trips to go out of town and hang out with a friend that used to live with them in the same town or whatever. Make it a vacation. Make it an adventure. Get with them, and you guys just hang out and have fun. I think we have to really work on our relationships, because it is easy to hide behind the technology. But again, that is a tool.
So I'm just even going to just demonstrate what she said. You know, you don't want to be doing this and that. You know, you want to be present like we are, enjoying each other's company.
Yes.
And technology should not be, look down at the bag, look at the bag. Technology should not be the center of your relationship. Technology has a place. And whatever that place is where it needs to be. Humanity needs to continue to be connected, because God could create us for connection, for community.
Community.
We need to be able to touch and talk.
Community.
Okay.
Unity.
Correct.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Great object lesson. I like that. So we done with today?
We are done for today.
So we have enjoyed y'all hanging out with us again. I am Queen Rachel, RC Mobile Notary.
And I'm Queen Carolyn, CPB Notary on Call.
And this concludes our discussion today under friendship and the Bible friendships that we discussed. I'm sure that you have some out there that you can pull on. They're meant to be examples to help you. There are several out there. There are several scenarios. You find what works for you, and you may also find that all of them apply based on the friendships that you have, that you can glean from each type of friendship that we discussed, and make it fit for you. Yeah. Until next time.